Hey guys, Sneaky Snake here, brothers in arms, World of Warships, and in today's video we're going to take a look at a monster damage game that I had in the Kid, the Tier 8 Premium American Destroyer. I'm divisioned up with my friends from APOC, Leet and Foss 76, and they're playing in the Richelieu and Z-23 respectively, the Tier 8 French battleship and German DD, and we're playing some standard battle here on the map Land of Fire. So I believe it was a couple months ago, maybe 3. I had a really good game here on this map, on this same spawn, the south spawn, in some domination here in the Kid. I had about 140-some thousand damage, I shot down over 30 aircraft, and had a couple base captures. And it was one of those games where I earned an incredibly large amount of base experience and helped carry my team to victory. The result you're going to see here today is some pretty insane damage, at least for a ship of this stature. And of course, the Kid here in World of Warships is a Fletcher hull at Tier 8. However, it loses half of its torpedo armament, so you have 5 of the 127mm guns, and of course it has, you know, what you'd expect from those types. You have really fast turret traverse, you have a very good rate of fire, and while the gun arcs are a little bit on the bad side, because the rate of fire is so high, the closer the enemy ships get to you, the easier it becomes to hit on target, and of course you can see on screen it also has some pretty nice gun angles as well. However, the torpedo armament on the Kid is not very good, at least compared to other Tier 8 destroyers. You only get one quintuple launcher, and they are Benson torpedoes instead of Fletcher, so about 55-ish knots, 9.2 kilometers worth of range, and while the damage is pretty nice at, what's the number here? 1 second. 16,633. You know, these torpedoes just aren't very offensive in nature. They're really only good against low health or medium health targets at point blank range. It's very much similar to the low tier American DDs, where you do have to ambush people that are really not paying attention to make use of these torpedoes, is because of their slow speed. It's just very difficult to be able to use them any other way effectively. Now you can see, however, that the Kid does have access to some pretty nice consumables, including the heal and defensive fire. And if you go with a full AA spec, this thing can get up to North Carolina levels of AA when the ×4 multiplier is activated. So this thing is easily able to swat planes out of the sky, and it is rather impressive. It also comes with pretty decent maneuverability, at least for an American DD. It is on the low side, as a matter of fact, but still, a 3.9 second rudder shift stock and a turning circle of 620 meters is not that bad. And then, of course, the concealment on the ship is pretty good, as it can get down to 5.8 kilometers. Now, you can see here right at the beginning of the game, my buddy Fa in the Z-23 and I wanted to try and make an ambush here on the corner of this island at Echo 4-5, Foxtrot 4-5. And you can see a Kagero try to be a little bit too cheeky, get a little bit too close to us, and you can see here just more shells are going down range. And this rate of fire that this boat has is very impressive. It's a 3-second reload with basic firing training on it, and that Kagero is just not going to be able to get away as Fa manages to pick up the first blood, setting him on fire, and he was able to utilize his hydroacoustic to also forewarn us of all of the 16 torpedoes that the Kagero dropped on us, and we're going to be A-okay. So a very nice ambush right there at the very beginning of the game, and it was able to result in getting a Japanese destroyer off the board really quickly. Now you can see here, I do have to pop my defensive AA. There are dive bombers coming in 2 groups on my buddy in the Richelieu, and you can see he's not under the aurora of my 40mm guns, so, you know, when it's only the 127 shooting, even with defensive AA, you're not going to get too much DPS out of it, but I do manage to secure a couple of plane kills. So, hey, you know, just getting a couple, it still helps. Now, at this point, you can see that we have a clear advantage on the western side of the map, and we have the vast majority of our team pushing to the west side of the map. So at this point, I told Fa, all right, man, I'm going to go try to push in, go a little bit more to the north. I'm going to use my smoke screen, and I'm going to get some fires and some torpedoes sent downrange at the enemy battleships. There's a Key and a Magi, a Tirpitz, and a New Mexico that are over there. And there is an enemy Benson that just gets spotted on the one line. However, he is so far out of position, and we also have a Cian Yang Fernando over there that's going to try and run him down. So I told Fa, hey man, let's not push over there. Let's stick with the team here, and let's try to deal with these enemy battleships. And you can see right here the Key, that Tier 8 Premium Japanese BB, has committed to this turn. He is not going to go around north of the island at C3, C4. Excuse me. So with that being the case, I'm getting ready to pop my smoke screen, and I'm going to go try and farm some damage here. And, you know, also you can see there's the friendly Niefni that's moving up right off my stern. Hopefully he'll be able to use the smoke screen as well, as my friends that are further behind are going to get some shots whenever this guy has to give a broadside. And again, this is what the kid does. Death by 1,000 paper cuts. And, you know, you do have to hit well into the superstructure for these shells to be able to actually deal any penetrative damage. You can see 7 breaks and 5 shells have actually penetrated the target, but generally speaking, you're going to get a lot more breaks than you will penetrations. It's just the nature of these 127mm shells and destroyer guns in general. You really do have to aim high, because if you hit, you know, at the main belt, it's going to break, and it's just not going to deal any damage whatsoever. There is, of course, still the opportunity to land a fire, as I've done so on the middle of the superstructure, the first fire of the game, but again, it really doesn't matter. At least to be able to deal damage if you're hitting the side of the belt armor, because it's too thick. And this position that I've got staked out right here, I mean, I guess you could say the smoke might have been a little bit premature, seeing as the enemy battleship, the key anyway, is turning away. There is the enemy Tirpitz that is moving to the south as well along the 4 line. He is undetected at the moment, so there's no reason for me to not keep shooting at this key. It appears that my buddy in the Richelieu behind me was able to get a citadel on that guy after he used his damage control. You can see that the fire and the smoke coming out of the key's funnel in the middle of the ship right there is indicative of him not having his engine in working order, which is very unfortunate for him, because he is full broadside to my buddy on the Richelieu, as well as a few other ships. And you can see here at about 9 kilometers, as I get my second fire of the game, you can see how it sometimes is a little difficult to hit ships, even if they are moving very, very slowly, because conversely, you can see that shooting at about 12.2 kilometers, it takes almost that same amount of time in seconds to be able to reach the target, which is, you know, it takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of getting used to, in all honesty, before you're able to consistently hit shells at range with American DDs. It does take a lot of practice, don't get me wrong. However, I do manage to burn down the key, that tier 8 premium Japanese battleship, so that's good stuff. I'm up to 36,000 points of damage, and now we're going to switch our focus over here to the enemy Budyoni. And one thing that is really nice about these 127mm is that, generally speaking, all of the mid-tier cruisers, i.e. 5 through 7, do not have the deck, bow, or stern armor to be able to stand up to your 127mm high explosive shot. So you can see 15 make that 16 penetrations, not a single shell has broken on the Budyoni, and I'm getting some very consistent damage on this guy. Make that the count now, 23 pens and only 1 break. And this guy is quickly going to go down. You also saw that my buddy in the Z23 came in and laid his smoke screen down just as mine was running out. So we're just poking this guy from the relative safety of our smoke screen, completely undetected, and we don't really have to worry about too much. And right there, Fa manages to take care of the kill. So at this point, 12:35 left in the game. It's 538 to 278. We've only lost 1 friendly destroyer, while the enemy team has lost 4 of their 12 ships. So this game is ours to lose. You can see that there is an enemy Navni that is trying to pester the Lexington and the Mutsu back in our base. But, you know, even if both of those guys die, it's really not that big of a deal. We do have 3 ships that are heading back to the cap. So, you know, at this point, we are free game to go trying to move into the enemy's base and get it captured. And you can see that the Tirpitz, last spotted, was moving away to the east. The Amagi is hightailing it back to the cap, so I should be running into him any second now. There we go. He does appear at about 9.5 kilometers. So I'm going to try to move in here and utilize my torpedoes. And as I said, it's very difficult to use these things offensively because they only have a speed of 55 knots. And generally speaking, you know, torpedoes that are slower are more for defensive. They're more for ships that are bow on or trying to come at you than they are for trying to launch them, like a narrow sheaf launch. A narrow sheaf launch is when you're launching torps at a target that is slowly moving away. Torpedoes that have very long range, like on the Shimakaze or the Gearing, or heck, even the Italian torpedoes that you can get on the cruisers with 12 kilometers of range are not too bad whatsoever. Anyway, you can see here that I've switched to the armor-piercing shot against the broadside of the enemy Amagi, and I'm going to circle it here on screen just so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. Above the belt armor, but below the superstructure, and heck, even if the shells do go into the superstructure, you're still able to get very copious amounts of armor-piercing shot. You saw 2 salvos in a row that were well over 2,000 points of damage, and you can see more salvos going in over 2,000 points of damage. And I'm actually going to get 2 torpedoes to hit right along the belt as well. Unfortunately, I do not not manage to get any floodings on that guy, but my damage is now spiked to 92,000 points, and as he angles away, I'm going to switch back to the high explosive. But again, shooting just above the belt armor, right where the secondaries really are. Some of the shells might stray into the superstructure as well, but on a flat broadside at under 9 kilometers, maybe under 10 kilometers as well, the AP will slowly but steadily rack up damage over time on battleships and aircraft carriers as well. So that's really good stuff. For cruisers, it's kind of the same. So yeah, it's something that, like I said before, you know, you really have to be able to take advantage of it in your American DDs. And it's something that you might think, well, Sneaky, you know, these things have such a fast rate of fire. Why would I want to use the AP? Well, hopefully that little clip right there of me walloping the Yamagi in the side with the AP will hopefully convince you guys that it's honestly a good idea. Anyway, enough jibber-jab about that. I'm at 105,000 points of damage. It's 582 to 247. We have lost a couple more ships, but the enemy team has lost 3 more in that span of time. So right now it is a 9 versus 5, and I'm about ready to get on this cap. Now, while I was talking about the armor-piercing usage, my buddy in the Nevny was not paying one bit of attention and completely ran into me and pushed me out of the smokescreen. Yes, maybe it was a weekend player. I don't know. But, you know, that stuff is kind of funny sometimes. Just thinking about it, you know, how many times, let me know in the comments below, how many times have you been chilling in your smoke screen, you're doing some damage, you're doing good work, and then all of a sudden you just hear, because some idiot, hey buddy, I'm going to actually go after him, and I'm going to type in chat, hey man, use your smoke screen for me, please, because you kind of, you know, yeah, you can see in chat, I was like, dude, come on. But like, any second now, I'm going to be like, hey, man, can you drop your smoke screen for me? I only got 24 seconds left until mine. But I'm going to see if he's going to oblige for this, so we'll see. Yep, there we go. He did drop smoke for me, so what a good fellow. So at this point, I got 34 seconds left on the torpedoes. The Tirpitz is at 6.8 kilometers and closing rapidly. You can see the Nevny is going to go for the short-range torpedo attack, and of course the Nevny only has 4-kilometer torpedoes, so doing something like that is not a bad play on his part. Once again, I get the defensive fire active. You can see the enemy fighter planes are well within my AA's aura, not just the long range, but also the medium and the short range as well. So hopefully my AA will be able to take care of business, and you can see all of a sudden I've shot down about 4 or 5 enemy fighters out of that group. Now, the Nevny completely botches his torpedo drop. That was very embarrassing, to put it lightly. So at this point, with my torpedoes reloaded, as I mentioned earlier, they're very good when you're trying to deal with, you know, low health or half health, maybe 2/3 health enemy battleships. It's not a bad idea. So at 2.8 kilometers, I'm going to stop shooting, and at about 2 kilometers, I am, of course, going to get auto-detected, because that's just what happens when you get too close to an enemy ship. But these torpedoes, even with their slow speed, I am so close to the enemy battleship, the Tirpitz in this case, that he's not going to be able to turn out of the way in time. And I do manage to get 2 torpedo hits onto him, and then I shoot right into the superstructure to pick up the high caliber at 144,000 points of damage. Some very awesome stuff right there. You can see that the New Mexico is off to my side. I'm also switching my focus here to the enemy Herakazi, and because I am bowing to him, his armor-piercing shot is going to ricochet quite a few times off of me. I also pick up the Confederate as well as I light fire number 6. My AA continues to go to work. That is plane number 10 in the game. And at this point, even though the New Mexico is only 8 kilometers away, I'm just going to try to charge down the smoke screen and see what I can do. My buddy Fa, who wheeled back to help out at the base, is now steaming very fast to the north. He does have his hydroacoustic active, and he's going to try to get in range to get that guy detected. I still have 11,800 hit points, and I do have my heal ready to go if I do need to use it. And I'm just going to charge the smoke screen. However, I have finally went undetected, because all the enemy aircraft were taken care of. And there we go. The Herakazi is at 1.7 kilometers, so instead of turning to the left, I'm going to turn back to the right, just in case he drops his torpedoes. Not 100% sure if he is reloaded or not, but you can't take that risk, so I'm just going to continue to turn away from this guy, and Fa manages to take care of the kill. And now it's 7,900 hit points. I'm going to use my next heal, and I'm going to switch my focus back to the New Mexico. So far, the damage farming has been quite the feast. And again, we're going to look here, just shooting right into the superstructure. That's the best chance that you're going to be able to get penetrating hits on any enemy battleship. You can see here with the rate of fire that's going on, it's very nice. And because this is my Des Moines captain, my reload is now down to 2.7 seconds because of Adrenaline Rush. So, yeah, what have you seen so far in this game? Just a lot of good gun performance, a pretty decent torpedo attack on the turrets. Granted, I probably could have waited a little bit longer to be able to drop it. Probably could have gotten a little bit closer, but I was afraid of his torpedoes as well because, of course, the turrets is the biggest destroyer in the game, Kappa. And I also had a pretty decent torpedo salvo on the enemy Amagi. So 400 shell hits, 4 torpedoes, a pretty nice amount of damage, again, in the kid. And this is a ship that it's just very hard to have those big damaging games. And quite frankly, as a kid destroyer captain, you really shouldn't be going to look for the damage farm all that much because you have the heal and the defensive AA to just be a nightmare around caps, at least in domination, and dealing with enemy destroyers. However, in this game, pretty special circumstances, I must say, because it's standard battle, and the enemy team kind of just came at us piecemeal, and it was really easy to be able to deal damage. Now, here at the very end of the game, the Lexington is on pretty much full health, but because I want to get some more damage done, I decided to steam off of the cap, and I'm going to try to get in range. And because this is my Des Moines captain, I can open up at 14.5 kilometers, because I do have AFT on this guy, so that's pretty nice. So I'm going to see what I can do here and get some more shots going down range at the guy. So, yeah, just the pew, 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 pew. This is what is so much fun to play with the kid. What do I think is better? If you were to ask me between the Benson and the kid, I'd still prefer the Benson because of the extra set of torpedoes. It's just a little bit nicer to have. I know the kid has 1 extra gun, but having extra torpedoes just makes it feel a little bit more like a normal destroyer, and that you don't have to worry about, you know, it kind of sucks when you're playing in the kid and you got to kill a battleship with torps, where you got to chunk them down really heavily, and you just don't have the armament that's going to be able to do so really quickly. But anyway, you can see her getting some more shots at the Lexington. At this point in the game, it's all over. This was over a long time ago. Just trying to get a little bit more damage for him. And of course, because it's a Lexington, 47 penetrating hits, only 1 break. Yeah, this guy is just giving me some more damage. Hopefully I'll be able to finish off the kill, but my buddy Leet finishes the game in style. Alrighty guys, taking a look now at the post-battle results. 1.48 million credits received. That is with all the credit flags and camouflage attached. 6,059 total experience and 1212 for the free XP. I picked up Confederate and High Caliber, dealing 180,000 points of damage. As of the performance of this game, I believe it was the 10th highest on the NA server, so there was only a couple kid drivers that managed to get over 200k, so this is definitely right up there and a very high amount of damage. 459 shell hits, 4 torpedoes. I shot down 14 planes from a Tier 8 carrier, sank 2 enemy ships, had 8 fires, and 2 floodings. Taking a look at the team score, 2,556 base experience earned. My buddy Leet came in second place with 3 kills and 9 aircraft shot down with 2126, and then Fa coming in third place with 4 kills and 14 base experience. So between the 3 of us, 9 kills and 25 aircraft shot down. Clearly, we carried the game, as APOC does quite a bit. Taking a look at the detailed report, 113,000 damage dealt with the main battery and 39,000 damage dealt with the torpedoes. I also managed about 28,000 points of damage with the fires and floodings that I was able to set. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this replay. We're going to try to get some Z39 gameplay up. That is the new premium tier 7 destroyer, the German one, of course. We're going to try to get some gameplay up for you guys here on Tuesday with Putin. If that does not happen, it will be coming here in the near future. Anyway, this is the Sneaky Snake. For Brothers in Arms World of Warships signing off, guys and gals, please consider giving the video a like, commenting on it, sharing it with your friends, or possibly subscribing to the channel. All of it is very much appreciated, and have a fantastic day.